The following portion of Studio 512 is sponsored by the American Heart Association. Today, you guys, is World Restart a Heart Day, and Mark Johnston has had an up-close and personal experience to share with us. He's here to talk more about how the American Heart Association can help save lives. And first of all, Mark, good morning.
Good morning. Thanks.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
And this is incredible. You've got a special experience to share because you have done it, Mark. You have saved a life.
I have. I performed CPR on a gentleman that it was very nerve-wracking, and it's a very emotional moment. But I had a success story. There's so many non-success stories, but I had one that the gentleman lived. Mm-hmm. I mean, he survived.
He was slumped over. You came out into the parking lot.
I walked out into the parking lot. He looked like he was sleeping on his steering wheel in his car. And I knocked on the window, and I knew, let me check on him, make sure everything's okay. And I wasn't getting any response, so I went ahead and opened his door. And I could tell that he's in trouble because he was turning white. And I checked for a pulse, and there was no pulse. And I'm like, boy,
this is scary.
Yeah, it's scary. This gentleman's in trouble. So something clicked for me at the time. You kind of felt like freezing and calling 911 or not getting involved. But I tell you, something really clicked. I took a CPR class years ago, and I know what to do. Mm-hmm. So I grabbed him by the chest and I pulled him out into the parking lot. In hindsight, I should have called 911, but I didn't. I got him into the parking lot and I started CPR. Mm-hmm. And when I started the chest compressions on the CPR, I was hoping to get a pulse. But that's kind of not what CPR is. CPR just kind of moves your bloods through your body and into your brain to prevent brain damage. And so I just kept doing the compressions. I did go ahead and give him a breath of air into because I wanted to make sure he wasn't choking. Sure. And we had air flowing through his system. So I did a breath. I could see his chest rise, so I knew that he had clear airway. So then I went back to the CPR. And at this point, everybody was seeing what was happening. Somebody did call 911. Nice. Thank goodness. And I continued CPR. Somebody else knew CPR, came over and started CPR. And then another person actually ran into a building and got an AED, an external defibrillator. Matter of fact, I was noticing that in the studio. Y'all have AEDs out here, which is good to have. A lot of businesses and schools have that. Somebody ran in, got the AED, we hooked up the AED, we pushed the button, we got a shock to his heart, and the AED, we got a heartbeat.
Oh my goodness. The
CPR was not able, and I don't know if a CPR, you're always going to get a heartbeat. You're just really trying to keep the person alive, okay? You're pumping for the heart, you're thinking like a piston. So you're keeping that blood flowing through the body, mostly to the brain, because brain damage can happen in about 4 minutes. Wow. So you're dealing with a matter of minutes here. And permanent brain damage, on average, happens about 7 minutes. So you want to get that blood flowing. And interesting enough, the average response time to the first responders is about 8 minutes. Oh. So this is why a lot of people pass away prior to the EMS getting there. So you got to get that blood flowing through the brain, get some oxygen in there to keep them alive, keep them going until the EMS has a chance to get there. The AED, we got the heartbeat before the ambulance got there. And, they took over and the gentleman lived.
Oh, it's amazing.
What an emotional moment.
Yeah.
It was so, I was so...
You're a hero.
Oh, no, I wouldn't call me a hero, but I can tell you what was very impactful in my life is his family came to visit me, the next day. And this is where I get choked up, so I'm going to try to keep from crying. But, whenever you have the wife, the kids, I had a 9-year-old boy come up to me and say, "Thank you for saving my dad." I'm sorry. It's something that I rank that with one of my highest accomplishments, something I've never, accomplished anything better than to be able to save that man's life so that little boy could have a dad, Oh, I'm sorry, I get choked up over this because it's an emotional time, but I want everybody to experience that. I want everybody, there was 350,000 people that died, that lost their lives last year because a lot of people don't know what to do. And they freeze, or they don't want to get involved for different reasons. And, you know, fortunately, I didn't do that. My gentleman lived. People that have heart attacks, heart arrest out in the public, usually there's people around, but they don't get involved. And so
they think someone else will.
Yeah, they want to leave it to someone else, or the EMS, or, you know, some of the reasons I've heard that, you know, they don't want to make things worse. You're not going to really make anything worse. I mean, the person needs your help. They don't want to get in trouble, like they're afraid they're going to get sued if they do something wrong, or the gentleman passes around. But there's a Good Samaritan law in the state of Texas, at least, that will protect people, you know, that, you know, they're not going to get in trouble.
Right.
You
for,
know,
for giving aid.
Yeah. And some of the students that I've trained, you know, I've asked them, why wouldn't you get involved? And I had a lady that had long nails, and she says, I'm afraid I'm going to cut his skin. Cut his skin. I mean, you can heal.
You might even have broken ribs after doing this properly, because it's hard compressions that you
There's been people that report that they can hear cracking happening, but ribs can heal, broken bones can heal, cuts can heal. We got to get this person's heart going. And, you know, we're teaming up with the American Heart Association to create a Nation of Lifesavers. You know, what is disturbing to me is we have this. We're kind of a nation of bystanders right now, because 9 out of 10 people pass away out in the public that has a heart event. This is outside the hospital, yes.
Wow.
Only 1 out of 10 survived. My guy survived, but that was rare. But it was because of the actions that, you know, I jumped in, and it was me and others that saved this guy's life. But that's what we're trying to encourage people to do, is to don't be a bystander. You know, get involved, start CPR, take a class. We have classes at ABC, Home and Commercial Services. They can come join our classes. American Heart Association has other classes. That'll give you the confidence to be able to jump in and help. But what we're saying is 2 things. Call 911, start CPR.
Yep.
And as easy as that sounds, my guy, I forgot to call 911 because in the heat of the moment, but I knew to start CPR. Somebody else called 911, and we saved his life.
But you know what I mean? You get better every single time. And I know you don't want to accept it, but you are a hero, heroic to that family. And thank you so much for being sensitive enough to share your story.
Absolutely.
Really big deal. And there's an American Heart Association Austin Heart and Stroke Walk coming up, where people can donate money and be part of the organization to help give back and to make sure more trainings like this happen.
We're trying to raise awareness to a nation of lifesavers, not bystanders. We're trying to talk more about CPR. We're trying to provide more classes and access to those classes. There is some fundraising. It's on November 16th. It's at the Moody Amphitheatre at Waterloo Park. And it's a great time. Bring the family, bring the dogs. Let's go down there. Let's have fun. It's a nice walk. We go down Congress. You get to look at the Capitol and all the buildings, and then we turn around and come back. So I hope to see everybody there. I really do.
It's a wonderful cause, absolutely. Mark, thank you for your time.
You're welcome.
All right, guys, donate and register now for the upcoming Austin Heart and Stroke Walk that you heard mentioned, benefiting the American Heart Association at heart.org. The preceding portion of Studio 512 was sponsored by the American Heart Association.